Welcome to After Hours. My name is Rictor. I am your host.
Rictor!
What?
Leave him alone!
This shit is real.
Now we got Rictor going. We're going to have to hear it about it all night.
Yeah.
That's a bunch of screaming memes out there, and that's the scoop that has been reported so far.
Thanks for dropping me like a stud.
I'm not interested in believing in something. Either it's real or it's not.
By your opinion that you are no-kill, you are dooming the species to be extinct.
They are what they are. It doesn't matter what we call them. Let's remove ourselves from them a little bit. And I think that's something that the Bigfoot community can actually learn a little bit from.
I actually am trying to push the envelope of science here.
When are we going to make a video, Rictor? And I mean not an X-rated one.
Dr. Todd, you've also been called the scoff dick.
Yeah, well,
have these creatures stood against a backdrop of trees, I probably never would have seen them.
You can't talk about
I can!
So you guys are going to bag a Bigfoot and get us a body.
We're giving it our best efforts.
we thought that we had the holy grail of DNA.
Our hero, Bob Gimlin's with us.
Hello, is this thing on? Am I muted? Can you hear me?
Hey, Rictor, I've got a question for you. How does it feel to lose Bigfoot Bounty?
My question is, why do you think Bigfoot is real?
Rictor does put a lot of effort into his costuming, doesn't he?
Yeah, well,
I mean,
by effort, if you mean bending over and picking up whatever's on the floor.
My.
Well, in my opinion, After Hours with Rictor is the #1 Bigfoot webcast.
What's your name again?
Don't piss Rictor off.
Rictor, behave.
David Ellis is just a guy with a passion for footin'. Monkeys in the woods has always had a presence in his mind. So when he was maybe 5, he heard a story told by his grandfather. His grandfather said he saw a monkey running through the hayfield. And by the time David was 11, he had his own personal encounter. Now, it never really became a passion until 2005 when he attended a Bigfoot conference in Bellingham, Washington. Eventually, contacts from that conference paid off, and he got himself into the field. And soon, David gravitated to physical evidence collection, whether it was track casting or audio recording. And during this process, he met Derek Randles and quickly became part of the Olympic project and has been with the OP since 2010. Now, David wants to collect and vet as much information as possible in hopes of finding predictable outcomes. So let's talk about Littlefoot. It's a curious impression that was discovered quite by accident. David would always go to this reservoir after Labor Day, and after the lake level had dropped, impressions would be found following the water's edge. He would have to say that more than likely, most of what he found was human. However, periodically, David would find some things that didn't quite fit. He followed 2 impressions in particular, one that stayed at 12 inches in length over a 5-year period, and one that grew from 11 inches to 15.5 inches. One year, another Olympic Project member, Cindy Dozen, found those tracks inland, and both impressions were found traveling together. So it was at this reservoir, mid-October, that David's wife found 3 6-inch barefoot impressions. David told her he would cast them at the end of the day, and he was in pursuit of something a little larger. So at the end of the day, David did cast the smaller impressions for his wife. He had a little hydrocal left over and was looking for a place to dispatch it when the little impression caught his eye. He was almost kneeling on it. Now, David had just enough casting material to get to the bottom of the foot. Now, it did yield what they think is a dermal swirl behind the big toe. Now, remember, guys, we don't have a physical specimen, so therefore it's a hypothesis that Sasquatch has dermal ridges. Remember that. It's not a fact. Sorry. So, the length of the foot suggests it's a newborn infant, but newborn babies don't stand and leave a deep impression. The size of the heel, whether it is human or otherwise, is immense. Yes, the impression has been reviewed by many. Some find it amusing, some do not. Regardless, it makes for good conversation starters. Now, this little cast, compared to the Patterson-Gimlin casts, I think this is probably real, not the Patterson-Gimlin casts. So let's talk to David Ellis. This interview was done at Beachfoot in 2016, and I was quite excited to see this little cast. Because as you guys know, I'm very critical, very skeptical. However, I do think Bigfoot's real. And I think this cast could very well be real. It's not a bear print.
I was like, okay, you want to get...
Hi, my name is Rictor. I'm your host for After Hours with Rictor, the #1 Bigfoot webcast. And joining me today is David Ellis from the Olympic Project. Now you're probably wondering, why am I talking to David and who is David? Well, check this out. He has a baby Bigfoot print he's polishing casts of.
Anyway.
Check this out.
I get out, I'm starting off.
Just hold it up. It's pretty amazing there. What's one of the most amazing features of that? That's got 4 toes?
Well, I think the most amazing feature of it, and puts it in the suspicious category, because we don't know if it's Sasquatch or human. Conditions show that this heel here is almost half the foot, and there's a flex across the middle of the foot. But to be fair, before humans wear shoes, they can exhibit a flex in the foot. Whatever this subject was stepped on a stick, and you can see where that was.
People also invite me.
See the stick mark? Yeah, check that out. What about the fatty tissue that might be right there? What is that?
Yeah, that's displacement from stepping on the stick.
Displacement.
Yeah. So whatever this was has a really large heel, has a very fatty tissue foot that had the ability to conform around the stick. It only imprinted 4 toes. So
what's the theory behind that? I
don't know. There's a possibility that the 5th toe is elevated for whatever reason. It just didn't imprint. That's a possibility. But here's the suspicious thing about it. It was with a 5.5-inch track that I did cast, and this was found accidentally. Wow. The feet were oriented of the 5.5-inch track like this: left foot forward, right foot back, and the little foot was found like this. So I can have a theory that whatever it was holding this subject, and it got a foot down because there was only 1 foot that was actually cast or that we found. It was found quite by accident. I was casting these impressions for my wife that I told her that I would. It was at the end of the day, and I forgot that I was going to cast these for her, so I went back hurriedly and was just casting these. Made enough slurry to have extra, and I had a spatula and I was looking for a place to displace it, and that's when I found this, and I was able to smush in enough hydrocal to at least get the bottom of the foot and as much detail as I could in the toes.
Now you've been with the Olympic Project since 2010.
Yes.
And you live up on Whidbey Island.
Yes.
That's 40 miles north of Seattle.
Yes.
You live in a very squatchy area. People say there's Bigfoot in Vancouver Island. So these things could probably travel across great distances by water, swimming.
Yeah, that's actually, there has been one person that has claimed to have seen one swimming between the Olympic Peninsula and Whidbey Island. There's also stories, encounters on Whidbey, but I'm not quite sure about those because there's really not enough water source for me personally as an investigator to say that they could be living there. It's a possibility that it would be a transitory coming and going stop-off point for whatever. Purely subjective, I realize that. I don't have any evidence to back that up.
Now, David here also is the sound guy. So at the Olympic Project, if someone has a recording of an unusual vocalization or a possible Bigfoot, they're going to give it to him. Now, why is that?
Well, I also have an affinity for documentation, and when I first got started in the world of Bigfooting, I would go out and have experiences and come back with stories, and I finally got tired of the story part. So I said, you know, I really need to start coming back with more than just a story. So the only way that I could do that was through audio. So I just started recording when I was out in the field and went through all sorts of progressions of using different sound enhancing devices, paring it back down to just actually carrying the recorder and leaving the recorder all running all night long. And now I'm working with witnesses all across the country that send me their stuff.
Yeah, have you had some stuff that you can tell is just bogus? Coyote, owl?
Yes. Yeah.
And how do you put them down gently?
Well, part of my presentation today will be showing you how to analyze with a spectrographic analysis, which is visual. I don't listen to audio, as strange as that sounds. I look at it, and so I know what the suspicious sounds that I'm looking for, that I've kind of pared it down. So you can see an owl, you can see crickets, you can see dogs, you can see, I can pick those out visually, so I know what those are. And you too could learn that process. It's not real difficult. You just have to spend the time. It's like somebody gives you a guitar and they say, play me a song. Well, I can't. I don't know how yet. Well, you start plucking strings and eventually you figure out a chord and you just keep building on that. So it's just the same process. You got to get out there and just do it.
Now today you're going to be doing a presentation. What's it about?
Well, I actually am going to show some known sounds. I'm going to show visually what an owl sounds like, visually what a bear sounds like, cougar, wolf, some sounds that people are recording and thinking
So it's Bigfoot.
Yeah.
But it's not.
It's not. So that's the process. You say, how do you let them down gently? Well, you just present them with the facts, and then they have, because now you're looking at
them. It, or do they like, oh no, you're wrong, you're lying?
Well, usually the first response is, well, they can mimic.
There's an excuse for everything.
Well, and you know what, it is possible, but however, look at the resonance. If it's a mimic, it most likely will be in a different resonance than the known subject. So,
because of the
source. Then that now would become, well, that is suspicious. So we keep that in a suspicious pile. So we try to show or prove everything that we get as a known, and go through every process. Now, okay, so where do you get the sound from, David, to analyze, to tell me that that's an owl? Well, I use the Macaulay Library of Sound. Yeah, it's an independent, unbiased third party that documents, tells you who recorded it, when they recorded it, who saw the animal making the vocalization, and it's got a file case number. So what I do now is when somebody questions maybe what I'm recording that I think is suspicious, I say, okay, tell me what you think it is, what known animal. I will go to the library and look that up, or you can provide me with a Macaulay Library of Sound file case number. Then I will record that over the internet.
Does anyone have an orange?
Throw it in my spectrographic analysis tool and do a side-by-side comparison. So you visually look at the two and you go, oh, yeah, that is the same. Okay, that's a known. Or, this is, it may sound similar, but it's not.
Well, today you're going to be playing.
Well, see, the nuts are going to be hanging, so the juice is going to be driven down.
Yeah, there's some things that
I
think
that
special surprises.
No, well, maybe a few surprises.
Okay. Oh, okay. We can't wait. Well, with the Olympic project, you were telling me there's a great motto for the Olympic project. What was that? You have to prove?
Okay, we're of the null hypothesis. We're out to prove everything is a known creature. So we take the opposite tack. The null hypothesis says you can't prove something, you disprove something. Here you go, buddy. So you disprove that it is a known animal by showing the characteristics, say in audio, that don't match the known creature. or the characteristics are so out of whack there isn't a creature that we know that can do that particular sound and resonate in that specific resonance. So again, it doesn't prove it's a Bigfoot. It just says now it's in a different suspicious category, and it stays there until we find the known that matches the suspicious.
Wow. Scientific method.
It's different. What do you know?
It's like working with facts.
Trying to
provide evidence.
Trying to.
Wow.
Trying.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rictor.
Thanks for being on After Hours.
You bet.
Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Listen, I have to get it on tape. Okay. That scared me. I don't know.
Is that koala? Sounds like koala.
Listen, I have to get it on tape. Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Listen, I have to get it on tape.
All right, we're gonna get this rolling here. David Ellis comes to us from Whidbey Island, is that correct? Yes. And part of the original Olympic project members. And Dave has done some amazing work with audio analysis. And you know, we saw a little bit of that yesterday through the shared project. I think what the hell was it? Yeah, Jason and Larry. God. The other guy. So it happens when you go to bed at 4 in the morning. So Larry touched upon it a little bit, but we're gonna dig down on this a little bit deeper. And so, without further ado, David Ellis.
Thank you, Todd. Diane, you can roll it to the next one. Okay, I think we all should give Todd and Diane a really nice big round. Thank you. You guys put on an excellent production, and I'm so honored to be here. So thank you very much. It's one of the highlights of the year. Yeah. All right, next. Okay, so I'm part of the Olympic project with Derek and a whole bunch of other guys and gals, and we are a like-minded research group, emphasis on the research and vetting evidence. We're all about trying to make sure that whatever we collect has a known answer. In other words, if we find an impression in the ground, we're going to assume it's bear, and we're going to try to prove that it is bear. And when we can't prove it's bear, then it goes into a suspicious pot. So that's kind of the way that other scientists do it. So that's the model that we emphasize. So how many of you here actually do field recording? Come on, raise your hands. I can't see hands. Some hands, no hands. How many of you do field recording? Adam, there we go. We got a hand out there. Okay, how many of you analyze what you record? Okay, slightly fewer hands. Okay, the whole reason why you want to record in the first place, it's a form of documentation. Just as an aside, what I do is if I know that I'm going to an area where I'm pretty sure that there's going to be some animal activity, I have my recorder rolling when I step out of the car. I can't count the number of times that I've heard the wood knock and I hadn't had my recorder going when I got out of the car. We may have missed an opportunity by not having that recorded of a behavior of what? Maybe an announcement that somebody is in our territory. So if you're not ready when you step out of your car and have your audio recorder going, you may miss an opportunity. So how many of you here have recorded a Sasquatch? 1, 2, yeah, Cindy, okay, I see some hands. Okay, next. Isn't this the typical reaction when you tell people you recorded a Sasquatch? Might not be able to see that. That's Laurel and Hardy guffawing pretty heavily. So yeah, that's the typical response. You tell somebody, that's not into following Bigfoot, I've recorded a Sasquatch. Okay, next. So by what credentials can you claim to have recorded a Sasquatch? How many Sasquatch experts do we have out here?
Oh, everybody's there.
Huh?
Get them on Facebook. They're all that stuff.
Uh-oh, I don't see as many hands as I had before. Starting to put a little doubt. Shane, did you raise your hand?
I was trying to raise it for him.
Oh, he's shy. Thanks, Derek. Okay. So what have we got left if we can't claim that we've recorded a Sasquatch?
I know.
A hoax. Yes. You've got a suspicious sound. So how do you vet a suspicious, easy for me to say, suspicious sound? Well, I do it by visual comparative sound analysis. So how many of you are asking out there, what's he talking about visual? I just recorded something. Why are you doing an analysis visually? Anybody have an answer for me? Want to venture a guess?
Oscilloscope.
An oscilloscope? Well, that won't tell you as much information as some software out there will. We'll get to what that is, but at least you're willing to look at a different way of analyzing it visually. So you're on the right track.
Spectrograph?
Yes, a spectrograph. How many of you have heard the term spectrograph that analyze audio recording? Okay, a lot of hands. A lot of hands. A lot more than when they said they did recording. So you're at least familiar with the process. That's good. So a spectrograph analysis tool is a software that you put your audio into it, and it gives you a visual of time and resonance and loudness. So with the loudness becomes proximity to the recorder. And it's like a fingerprint, if you will. I'm using an analogy here. It's not obviously a fingerprint, but it is like a voice print, which you can see detailed information, which is what tells you what you need to know when you're comparing it with a known animal. So here's a spectrogram of two different vocalizers. The one on the left was sent to me saying, I've got a Sasquatch recorded. I want you to take a look at this and confirm that for me. Well, when I listened to it, I thought, I've heard that sound before, and I'm pretty sure I know what it is. But I can't just go back to that person and tell them, I think you've recorded an owl. I'm not doing them any service when I do that. I need to do a little bit better on the information of where I got that sound. So I use the Macaulay Library of Sound. Anybody heard of the Macaulay Library of Sound? few hands go up. They're an unbiased third party sponsored by Cornell University. They have documented files with catalog numbers, who recorded it, when they recorded it, and it was a visual sighting. So you had a visual sighting of the creature actually making these sounds, making it a known sound. So the one on the right, to me, is a visual match to the one on the left. So now I can go back to that person that sent that file to me saying, I've recorded a Sasquatch, I need you to verify it. I have to give them the news that you recorded a barred owl. And here is the visual comparison that lets me know that you recorded a barred owl. So it's much easier at that point. So this is just a slide referencing Macaulay Library Sound, so I'll give you a moment if for those taking notes, make sure you got that written down. But that's where I go to get my recording. Okay, so before we start the audio, I'll give a little prelude here. John Andrews. How many people know who John Andrews is? Okay, those of you, thank you, Derek. Those that have been around a while know that he has probably one of the best recordings of a suspicious sound out there. To me, this is kind of the gold standard that I utilize for one of the vocalizations that I think might be suspiciously Sasquatch. And I choose my words carefully because I never say that it is a Sasquatch. We don't have a Sasquatch yet, so we can't confirm that it is. But like I say, it goes into that suspicious pile. So the one on the right is a visualization of what John Andrews recorded. The one on the left is a radio guy who, in a studio, recorded what, and I asked him to do that. I said, can you mimic this? Because this guy had a really nice baritone, rich voice. Very similar to Ron Moorhead. So anyway, very good voice. So he did that for me, and he sent it back, and with a little caveat, he said, David, I could only do about 6 seconds at the volume that I needed to do. So I said, really? Yeah, he said, I tried and I tried, because he knew that whatever that he was trying to match, which was recorded about a half to 3/4 of a mile away, boomed it out. So he belted it out as loud as he could, for as long as he could, and it only could do it for about 6 seconds. So what you're seeing here is actually an audio edit. I stretched it so that it would be the same length. But there's some visual differences right away. Have any of you heard of the term main fundamental? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, the main fundamental is where the majority of the sound resonates. Then from that, and what we're looking at here is the main fundamental, right there. What you see above it are harmonics, and these are called upper harmonics, and they're a logarithmic feature. But you can see that the logarithmic feature is similar, but it's more consistent with the one on the right. And the one on the left has a really strong fundamental in this range. And this gentleman here also has a lower harmonic. The lower harmonic is not present in this sound. So it's really difficult to say that I have a pattern here, because this is I'm just looking at one. So in order for a pattern to emerge, this would have to repeat over and over and over again. But at least now I have some things to look for. So why don't we go ahead and play this sound, and you'll be able to hear the similarities of both. Okay, so similar, but not the same. So you could say at least these are two different individuals. Whether you could say one is a Sasquatch and one is human. We know one is human, that's a known. But whether that's really a Sasquatch, we can't say, but it has some oddities that I am now looking for and tracking and following because I have a visual cue to do that. Any questions at this point? Yes?
I got a recording from July 11th. That's very, very like that.
Okay, so what I would say that I would like to do with that is compare it to these three.
Right now.
Right now, or you're saying right now.
Yeah, let's do it.
He's got it on his phone. Yes.
This is July 11th, roughly about 35 miles southeast of Columbus, Ohio. And these people have been having stuff going all the time, including 2 Class A's.
Okay, what I would say that I would like to do with that file is go to the Macaulay Library of Sound and look up wolf or wolf hybrid and see if there's any kind of a match to what I just heard. So that's how I would do that particular scenario. And also compare it to this as well to see if there's characteristics. Yes?
This may be a question before you start comparing sounds, but just generically, are there different patterns to mechanically produce sound versus creature sound?
Okay, the question is, for those of you out in the way out in the hinterlands, is there a possibility or is there a mechanical device that can make sounds, and would I be able to tell the difference? And the answer is yes. So, because everything has its own signature. That's the beauty of doing this, everything visually. Yes?
If I remember right, talking with Paul, he said he was able to lock in frequency and fix it at 700.
Okay, Redmond's bringing up an interesting comment that, and I've followed Paul before too. Redmond mentioned that Paul Graves, who has been looking into long howls, that there is a sweet spot that he personally has been following that's in the 650 to 750 hertz range. That's also a good indicator too, and that's exactly what we're looking at here where the main fundamental resides. So yes, that is one of the areas of suspicious sounds. It's an indicator, it's something that I keep, okay, that's a good reason to put this in the suspicious, that's an easy word for me. Would you say that? Suspicious. Thank you.
That's why it's important to have one person doing this type of work like you, Paul, Larry, because it's peer review in the simplest form. You're able to back each other up.
This is why it's important in the Bigfoot field to have more than one person doing similar work, like you, Paul, Larry, because you're able to, it's the simplest form of peer review, which is what science is. And because you guys are working together, it's a testament to what we should be doing.
Yeah, thank you, Redmond. That's essentially what we do. There is a group of audiophiles that I work with around the country, and we follow some specific sounds. We keep it kind of quiet because we want people to bring forth their sounds. And when we get something that's in Maine, that's in Colorado, that's in Washington, that's in Oregon, that's in Nevada, all doing the same thing, well, there's more than one. More than one what, we can't say, but there's more than one, so it means that we really do need to try to zero in, is it unknown? Okay.
Come on, Vanna.
Uh-oh, I spoke too long. Did I freeze it?
Oh, thank you, Dan. Wiggle the mouse.
Todd?
Okay, we got it.
You want to do a dance? Oh, well, here we go. We're back. Question is, am I? Okay, this is a collection of bear sounds. And I'm just going to roll through several different known creatures, just so you can get a visual idea. So that you know that when I'm looking at sound files, there's a lot of dead air, and I review it visually because I can go through a 28-minute file in about 3 to 4 minutes. So it's a much easier way to get through to find things of interest. So this is a bear growl loop. It's the same repetitive loop 5 times. So you hear some huffing and growling. So these are sounds that you should become familiar with if you're going to be studying audio. I don't want to run into it either. Okay, we can move on. Maybe, maybe not. Okay, so this is a collection of cougar growls. If Diane, if you just want to let it roll maybe 3 times and stop it, that's fine. That's pretty obvious. But maybe the growls and the snorts aren't. Okay.
I don't want to hear that.
Okay.
Dave.
Yes.
Do you have software that will, because all these sounds have signatures.
Correct.
Do you have software that, like we have the facial software, do you have software that will automatically?
Good question. So the question is, do you have software that can give you a cue that it's, as it's rolling across the screen, what it is? I have heard of such software. I think, Larry, you've kind of looked into it a little bit. But to be honest with you, I'm rolling on this. Maybe there is.
Because they're all unique.
Yes.
So you should have to be able to do that.
So where I am right now is I'm doing mechanically. When I see this type of a signature, I at least know the direction to go to do the comparative analysis. Okay, and so we got a wolfie? Yeah, we do. It's cougar.
Hold on. You're killing me here.
Wolf. Okay, so this is a collection of wolf calls.
Growling.
Oh, it's a wolf growl. You'll hear people talking, and that's their human signature at the beginning.
Growling.
Did you? Let's poll the audience and see if they got the gist of that. What you're hearing is a human saying it's growling, and then you hear the growling.
One more time. Growling.
And these are important sounds to know, because quite often I do hear things like these on my recordings. So for those that aren't associating it with known creatures, this could be an eye-opening situation for you? Go ahead. Okay, owls. That's typically what I get sent the most, that because the barred owl has such a wide range of sounds it can make, including like a strange monkey in the woods. So this is just a collection of owl vocalizations.
That third one is what's used in Sasquatch Meets Legend, Legend Meets Science.
Is it?
Matt Moneymaker produced film, video. That's they analyze that third one.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
that third one.
Okay.
Hear that third one again, guys.
Here, I'm starting it all over.
Okay. That's number one. Number two. Now, the next one you got to listen for. Listen to that closely.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
One for Rictor. Bam!
So a Rictor, is it known or unknown?
Oh, that's known. Sorry, Matt. Am I right? I mean,
Sounds like him.
Okay, the next one.
Yeah, he is.
Okay. One of the sounds that I am following that has been recorded by me and numerous recorders around the nation is a slapping sound. Very quick, abbreviated slapping sound. Well, guess what makes that slapping sound too? A gorilla. So what I've got here is a gorilla on the very first one, and this is repeated 5 times. So the gorilla is the long spikes. The second is I don't know, but it's been recorded in the woods all around the Northwest and places all across the United States. I don't know.
Suspicious sounds.
Suspicious sounds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Play it again on the chest.
Lenny Green could use that for one of his songs.
Yeah, there you go. Drum riff.
Hey! Good.
Okay.
Next.
Next. Okay, so what else can make a drumming sound in the woods?
Grouse.
Grouse. I hear ruffed grouse and you'd be a winner. Let's hear a rough grouse.
Catalog number 48907.
I just dropped my coin. That's pretty clear. How close was it?
That's the Macaulay Library of Sound file. Yeah, that's not one of my recordings. Visually you can see the pattern. Audio, you can hear the pattern. And every Macaulay Library of Sound file that I've reviewed in the rough grouse starts out the same and ends the same. They don't start out boom, 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 and quit. Once they start thumping their chest, they go through their routine. So, I don't know. Is it rough grouse that we're hearing, that slapping chest beat, or does it sound more like the gorilla?
I've heard a sound, I actually recorded a sound in 2010 near my house, which was similar to that grouse. So, and that's in Mississippi, so there
What
may
time
be.
of the year?
I was in the fall.
Because I think grouse around here, aren't they mostly just in the spring?
I hear them all the time.
You hear them all the time.
Yeah. But that's me. Don't take my word for it. Yeah.
Hey, Rictor, do you hear ruffled grouse at night?
Yes, I have. Yeah, and they could be disturbed by something to create that sound. I hear lots of birds in the woods at night, and something has disturbed them usually. So, okay, I've put a collection or montage of sounds together just for fun. It's about 3 minutes of just weird different sounds that I've recorded. Some are knocks, some are screams, some are whoops, some are howls, some are just gibberish, some are just, I don't know what they are. But what I'm saying is that I don't have anything that matches up. If any of you hear something that you're pretty sure you know what it is, let me know. I will do the research, or you can provide the file for me at the Macaulay Library of Sound, third disinterested party, unbiased, that sounds like anything in here, and we'll compare it visually. That's how we do it.
Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Listen, I have to get it on tape. Okay. That scared me. I don't know.
Is that koala? Oh, it's koala.
Listen,
Oh.
I have to get it on tape. Okay. That scared me. I don't know. Listen, I have to get it on tape.
Oh. Okay, that last clip there where you hear a lady, that scared me, and she says, I have to get it on tape. She recorded that with her iPhone.
Wow.
And the wow part comes in. I have a new tool that I play with. I enhance that audio. So that audio was manipulated And I use that term cautiously because I'm editing in spectrographic analysis. I know exactly where the sound resides. I enhance the sound and I reduce the noise. So I have software that allows me to bring out the quality. And one of our witnesses, Steve Gilbertson, and Borsch, I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay, sorry. Steve recorded a sound on his camcorder, and it was really, really, really soft. And so they asked me if there was anything that I could do with it, and there was. I don't know if we can X out of that. And see the Gilbertson. Sorry.
Gilbert, sorry, Forrest Gilbertson.
Yeah.
Where is it? Not reading fast enough. No, there it is. Okay.
Okay, so my point was that if you record something and it's barely audible, I am able to enhance it so that it's more than barely audible. So if you record something that's either has a noisy background or people are talking over the top of it, or the crickets are really loud, or the frogs are really loud, I have the ability to just zero in on the call that we want and keep enough of the background image in it, because that's important, so that we can hear the sound more clearly. Any questions? Good. All right, thank you very much.
I would love for you, but it's not small town, that's the only thing. What I think we talked about this a little bit about E. Walker, that missionary.
Yeah.
That wrote back to his church back in 1840.
Yeah.
That was in Washington,
yeah,
detailing what the Chinook Indians were saying about the Skookum, the mountain devils, about Mount St. Helens, and how they had to hang their salmon extra higher because these giants would come down and take their fish and things like that.
Right.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. No, it would.
But there's no town.
Well, there's no town, and who am I going to talk to?
Well,
I mean, that's...
Yeah, a seance would be...
Get the Ouija board.
Yeah.
Interview a Ouija board.
We need that missionary E. Walker to talk to us and tell us
Actually, that is one of those stories, though, that I love. And like you and I talked a little bit of... Like, that historical stuff is what really continues to keep me thinking maybe there really is something to all of this.
I'm here to do one thing, is to bring one of these creatures back. I don't want to talk right now.
So don't get mad.
Just keep the camera off right now, okay? I said I don't want to talk. You got it? Joan, get me a Snapple.
Oh, Tom Biscardi, you want a Snapple? I got one for you. Hold on. Yeah. Might be a little warm. Hey, my little Squatch monsters, it's time to shake up the Bigfoot community. This is Off the Rictor. Bigfoot's your forest friend? Are you kidding me?